So today we're going to be going through an overview of the Schema App Highlighter. This tool is an excellent option for creating schema markup at scale. So if you have pages with variable content that are all formatted the same way, for example, a blog or perhaps a product page like this one here, creating a template is a really great option to mark something up once and then have it deploy to all of the necessary pages. So I'm going to mark up this product page for the shoe being sold by Keen, just to show you the highlighter in action. So the first thing we're going to do is click on Create Template, and you're going to want to grab a URL that is representative for a set of associated pages. So I'll grab this one, and I'll select the associated class, which in this case is product. Then I'm going to load the page. We're now in step 2 where we can tag the first page since it's been loaded into the highlighter. You may see that there are pop-ups that are preventing you from being able to see the content of the page, but we can easily get rid of those by changing what our cursor does and selecting Click to Hide. So we'll just click on all of the elements that we want to get rid of. Get rid of this one too. And now we'll go back to Click to Highlight. So generally highlighting elements is very, very simple. All you have to do is click on it and then select the associated property. So in this case, this is the name of the product. So we selected the property and then we'll hit save. We also want to be able to pull out the pricing information. We'll select that there. And prices are associated with offers, so I need to connect the product to an offer. And then that offer can have a price. It's really good to go through a strategy before jumping into creating markup with the highlighter. Since it doesn't guide you in the same way that the editor does, you need to go into it knowing which required and recommended properties you need in accordance with Google's guidelines. So I have the guidelines for product markup open just in another tab so that I can reference it whenever I need to. Within these guidelines, I've been able to find out that prices can only be represented in numbers and they don't want any ambiguous symbols. So I can get rid of that $sign by going under Advanced and then adding a filter. So there's a number of different options for creating a filter. In this case, I want it to take all of the information that comes after the $sign symbol. You can see it's gotten rid of that, so it's only providing us with a numerical value. Now we'll click on Save. Another option for creating markup for these pages is adding a fixed property. So a fixed property is something that always stays the same on every page and isn't a variable like a price or a name of a product. So a good example for this is the price currency. In this case, we're on the US website, so the price currency is always going to be US dollars. The code for that is USD. And again, I have to connect this back to the offer. So the product offers an offer which has a price currency, and we'll click Save. Another option for adding something that is consistent across every single page is linking to an existing data item. So in order to use this, you would need to create a data item within the editor. A good option for this would be creating an organization data item for Keen. So I haven't created one at this point, but perhaps I would say that they are the manufacturer. And then from the search box, I'd be able to search for the data item. If it existed, it would pop up there and I could select it. In this case, it doesn't, but that's okay. And then you'd click Save. Since this isn't connecting it to anything, I'm just going to click X to get rid of it. Sometimes you'll find that you have content that is repeated, like maybe you have a list of reviews that repeats throughout the web page, or maybe you are creating something that has more data items embedded inside of it. Both of those are a great opportunity to add a sub-template. So we don't have any reviews listed on the page as viewed here in the highlighter. Otherwise, I'd use them as they're a great opportunity for creating a sub-template. But just to show you how it works, I will show you that you can select an item, say what it is. So let's just pretend that this is a review. And it connects to a review data item. And then within it, you could select other sub-template items. So everything that you click on will then appear under here under sub-template items. And you can then state what kind of property connects them back to that review. So since this isn't the best example, we're just going to click X again. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting about this page is that on the live page, we can see down at the bottom here that it provides an aggregate rating for the product. So this didn't show up in our highlighter, and it might be because the content is dynamic. But I know that this exists on every product page, and I want to be able to call it out. So what I'd want to do is add a manual XPath to call that information out. Sometimes XPaths are really easy to find. You just go to the page, you click on Inspect, you select the Navigate option here, so that when I click on an element, it will take me to where that is in the HTML. I just want to confirm that the numerical value is there, and there it is, 4.8. So I'm going to right-click this element, select Copy, and copy full XPath. Now I'll go back into the highlighter, select Add Manual XPath. This is considered an advanced function, so it's just checking with me that I want to proceed. I'm going to select Add, and then I can paste it here where it says XPath. Now I can see that this XPath is functional because on this page it was able to pull out that numerical value for the aggregate rating. Now I want to connect this back to aggregate rating by selecting the aggregate rating property, aggregate rating data item, and the rating value. Now we can click Save. So you can save your highlights by clicking that Save button that shows just at the bottom of every single manually defined highlight, or you can click Save All Highlights Now. I always like to click that anyways, just to give me peace of mind that everything's been saved. Then we can move on to creating our page set. So I'll go Next. You have 3 different options for defining your page set. You can either list all of the URLs for all of the pages that have the same kind of format, you can define a URL pattern, or you can define an XPath. So the XPath will look for an element that exists on all of the associated pages. So this can get a little bit complicated, so if you're running into trouble, don't hesitate to reach out to us at support@schemaapp.com. So in this case, I know that there is a defined URL pattern that exists across all of the products, and it's the main root of the website /p/ some kind of variable at the end. So knowing that, I can state that the pattern is /p/ ***. So having 2 stars just means it will allow for any kind of variable that comes after that p/. Then we need at least 3 URLs to test. So I'm going to copy the URL from this product, copy the URL from this product, just get rid of this inspect, and then copy the URL from this product here too. So then we're going to tell it to validate, and it's noting that the pattern actually does match all of the example URLs we've inserted. Then we'll click Next and move on to reviewing the highlights. So it's loaded the other example URLs into the highlighter for me, so I can go through it and confirm that it's pulling out the correct information. Again, I'm just going to hide these pop-ups so that I can actually see the content that I'm trying to verify. Go back to click to highlight. So it's pulled out the aggregate rating of this product, which is great. The fixed property is US dollars. That's not something that changes. It's showing that the original highlight for price was $140. In this case, it's pulling out $150, so that's perfect. The name has also changed, so the original highlight was the Men's Flint 2 Waterproof. This one is the Men's Detroit XT ESD, which is also great. So once I've confirmed that everything is functional, so you'll want to toggle through the different URLs up here just to confirm that it's pulling out the correct information for each one. Once you've confirmed that, then perhaps you want to just check out the code and then see what Google would see if it was to assess the markup that you created. So you can click on JSON-LD. So we're going to test this with Google. And this is letting us know what the errors are. So we're missing some pieces of information in accordance with Google's requirements. So in this case, it wants a rating count, a review count. Knowing this, we can then go back into the highlighter and add the necessary information, either using a manually defined highlight with an XPath or by selecting the right content just with our cursor. So once all of those highlights have been reviewed, we can click Next. This will give us a summary of all of the different content that we have marked up. So the full class is the product. Within it, we have an aggregate rating. Within it, we also have an offer, and the offer has price, currency, and a price. And it will show that for all of the example URLs that we've looked at within the highlighter. Then we can click Save and Finish. Now, once you're done creating the template, you'll then want to select the deployment method. So you just select that from up here. Generally, it's either the JavaScript or the crawler. We do also have the option of the webhook, and you can find more information about getting those set up right here. So let's say that I'm using Google Tag Manager and I'm going to be using the JavaScript snippet, so I can select that option. Once that's all set up, I can then move the status of this from draft to published. And that's it. To create more templates, you just select on New Template and you do the process all over again. Thanks for watching.